Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Michelle C. Thomas of MC Thomas and Associates. Michelle, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
No problem. Super excited to have you on as well, too. And before we jumped in, I want to read a little bit more about Michelle so you can hear about all the awesome things that she's doing. And Michelle C. Thomas, Esquire, is a seasoned divorce lawyer and the founder of MC Thomas and Associates PC, a premier divorce and family law serving Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, and Maryland. Michelle and her team represent a wide range of clients ranging from business owners and corporate executives to physicians, law firm partners, politicians, professional athletes, and many more. Her passion is helping people protect their assets and their future and ultimately transform their lives for the better. Michelle Thomas has been repeatedly recognized as a top-rated family lawyer in Washington, D.C. by SuperLawyers and recently named a top attorney by Bethesda Magazine. Congratulations.
Thank
Michelle
you.
is a sought-after speaker and a media contributor in local and national media on issues such as effective co-parenting, parenting through the pandemic, divorce-proofing your marriage, and law firm management. She's been seen and heard on the Michael Baisden Show, Fox 5 News, News 1 Now with Roland Martin Radio, Essence Magazine, The Washington Times, The Daily Drum Show on WHUR Sirius 141, and Law Talk with Ethel Mitchell on Radio 1 and many, many more. Michelle, great to have you on the show. Are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do it. So to kick everything off, I wanted to hear a little bit more on how you got started. Could you take us through what I call your CEO story, and we'll let you get started with all the awesome things you're working on?
Sure. So Gresham, I have to tell you, I've always sort of been entrepreneurial and business minded since I was a kid. I mean, I had my first business when I was 8 years old, selling candy on the bus. And I actually had a good thing going. I was taking inventory in my little pink notebook. I mean, it was
Nice.
great until, of course, the authorities found me out, which were, the school principal. Apparently, when they say not for resale on the candy bags, that means something. So I learned that, but at the time I didn't know it, and thankfully the statute of limitations has passed.
There you go.
But that's always been part of me. The concept of being independent appealed to me even from a really young age. And don't get me wrong, I did have wonderful parents who provided for me a nice, loving home. But there was something about I had just an internal drive and desire to be sort of a self-made woman. So anyway, I developed an interest in the law and sort of fighting for people. And I ended up in college, I ended up working for a family lawyer in Chapel Hill. And in addition to getting to observe the lawyer, her impact on her clients, I distinctly remember thinking, so this is how you run a firm. This is how you organize it. This is how you save resources. She used to reuse folders and files and everything. And those were some of the other tips that I was taking away. I was taking mental notes because I believed that one day that would be me. So I continued on to law school, attended the George Washington University Law School, and started working at a pretty high-end divorce and family law firm in Virginia. Great experience there. And one day, one of the partners said to me, I think it was in my second year, and he said, your client generation is unprecedented for a second-year associate. You should think about starting your own firm one day. Now, I'm sure he thought one day would be way down the road, but that wasn't the plan. So that was sort of the first, whisper about stepping out on faith. Before I started my own firm, I then went to another firm. Not as great of an experience, if I can be candid in terms of the environment. I found myself feeling unhappy and just believing that there was more. I was sort of working these big firm, long hours, but getting small firm pay, just that typical scenario of being overworked, underpaid, and knowing that I brought value. I was still generating clients and I brought some of the clients from the Virginia firm there, and then I continued on that path. So at some point I said, okay, this is it. This is sort of the second whisper where that there's something bigger and, there's a way that you can do this. So I then stepped out on faith. Now, I will say I didn't just jump. I planned, I prepared, I actually wrote out a business plan. I found some business planning software, wrote that out. I was working on a website in the middle of the night because I was working still very long hours. So I was, working on building the infrastructure, and then it was the day to launch. And so I did. I gave plenty of notice, but I did, launch. And all but I think one client came with me, which was further affirmation that this is the right path. And just from what I had seen, I knew that I wanted to do it a different way. I wanted to help people in a manner that was just in alignment with my core values. And so that's what I did. And, the MC Thomas and Associates PC was birthed. And I have to tell you, Gresham, I have never looked back. It's been a tremendous blessing from that point forward. And even when I launched, I was intentional about where I was going. So people would try to just send me, to be helpful, they would send, clients from all kinds of cases. And I would say, oh, no, I'm handling high-end divorce. Like, this is what I'm doing. And I was laser focused on carving out a niche for myself pretty early from day one. And that is certainly, that's what we do today. So it was really just a faith walk, and I've never looked back.
Nice. Well, I absolutely love that. And I love how you kind of talked about those whispers. And I think so many times we hear whispers and we'll kind of shush them away, or we'll turn up the volume on the music so we don't hear them. But in reality, they keep coming and keep going. So I love that you, of course, heard that. And then you started to take those steps towards that. But it wasn't overnight, as you mentioned, being able to kind of do those things gradually, but with an intentionality led you to all the awesome work you're doing now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I always say, be intentional about your business, be intentional about your future, be proactive and take it into your own hands, because, too many times people almost kill themselves to build somebody else's dream. And they die with, their dreams die inside of them. And I just said, oh no, that this is just not what we're doing over here. So I was able to launch, and it's been, that's been it. So.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And some say that the wealthiest place in the world is not, a bank or, certain countries, it's the graveyard, because there's so many people that you said that have those dreams, that have those goals that really never saw them come to fruition. So I think that's so powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know I touched on it a little bit when I read your bio, and you did as well too. Could you take us through a little bit more on how you serve your clients and what you feel kind of sets you apart and is your secret sauce and that you feel makes you unique?
Sure. So we help families in transition. We help families through one of life's most difficult transitions, actually, which is generally divorce, sometimes very highly contested custody cases. But we help to then bring them from usually one of their worst moments in life through to the other side, where they can see, brightness again and sunlight. So we really sell hope, if you will, hope that there's a better future, a better life lies ahead and awaits them once they can get through this hurdle that they're in. We believe that there's life after divorce, so we don't just sort of drop our clients and get them divorced and move on, but we really want them to be relieved, to know that they don't have to worry about the future, that what they fought hard for has been protected through the work that we do. So we serve our clients, again, guided by the firm's core values, which are integrity, consistency, and excellence. And the reason why those values are on our firm website is because that is critically important. It's important to me. And I tell people, whether you're looking to hire me or work for me, if you don't really sort of share in those values, in other words, if you want us to just, go after your spouse and just for the purpose of ruining them, we may not be the best fit, because we want to help you get the best end result, not just seek revenge. And the same thing with my team and staff. It's a matter of, we want to serve with integrity. We've all been in those businesses where someone tells you to, lie or just tell them I'm not here and that sort of thing. And that's not what we're doing over here. So, it's on the firm website. I wrote it myself. It's because it's what I believe, and it drives the way that we serve our clients. And we've been, like I said, from the beginning, I sort of had a goal of the niche that I wanted to serve. And while we do a lot of great work in the community as well, we do have a lot of clients that are, professionals, doctors, lawyers, athletes, that sort of thing as well. But we certainly just, our primary focus is to serve with integrity, consistency, and excellence.
Awesome. I definitely appreciate that. And I love those kind of three pillars. And I love, even as you kind of talked about, getting and starting the organization and the company, is really understanding and having that intentionality and things that you're doing. And I think so many times we forget about creating those kind of core pillars, it sounds like, and core values that are going to help you to make the decision and help you to attract the right people as well too. And so many times we
Right.
skip over that.
Right. And I believe in that sort of the attraction as well, because you want to do work, you want to do great work, and you want to do work that aligns with your core. Because if you're not, you're going to find yourself, unhappy again, and also your clients may not be happy. And so that's really important. And I would say in terms of what differentiates us or sets us apart, I mean, that's one of them are the core values that guide our firm. But also the fact that we do offer and sell very customized, tailored services. So we're not sort of a one shop, one size fits all. It's the difference between a suit, off the rack versus a custom tailored suit. We really look at you as an individual and look at what's right and analyze what's best for your family, and then devise a strategy designed to achieve those goals on a case by case basis. So that's really what we focus on and stand for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so huge. And I often say that, so much about business is forgetting about the human aspect of it. But as you talked about, through a very kind of sometimes challenging time and going through a challenging experience and understanding that human aspect is huge. So I almost feel like, and I'm sure you definitely probably feel the exact same way, where if you do use a cookie cutter approach and don't have that customized approach,
Yeah.
you're really not only doing a detriment to the people, but you're also doing detriment, I think, to, the life after and all the things that come after, that experience as well.
Yeah, I agree. So, it's really important. I always say, all lawyers aren't created equally. You really have to do your research and make sure that you find someone that aligns with what your goals are, what you're looking for. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in terms of who you hire, particularly when you're in this type of family divorce situation. It's really important. So you need someone that works for you and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that you do that to help support, so many of your clients and people that you work with. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I
Sure.
wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Listen, Gresham, efficiency is the name of the game. So whatever makes me more efficient is what is my secret hack. So one of the things I like to say is rise early. So my morning routine is very important. The early morning hours are critically important. It's quiet outside. You can get a lot of work done. You can stay focused. But it's been my experience that the most successful people are relentless about their routines and their systems, and so they follow the same routine. And you have to develop one that works for you. So listen, I'm an extreme sort of type A personality. So getting up at 5 a.m. may not work for you the way that it may work for me. But whatever that routine, that system is, you need to devise it, write it down, and follow it. So for me, rising early and moving is first and foremost. So I work out pretty early in the morning. Pray, read the word, do some positive affirmations to set the intention and tone for the day. That's important. How you start your day sets the tone usually for the rest of it. There's a great Instagram page that I like to follow called Before 5 a.m. And there's just a lot of motivational quotes about getting up early, and you see everybody else getting up early and you think, well, I don't want to be left behind. So you join in that. I believe in multitasking. So I may listen to podcasts, your podcast or others, while I'm working out, especially now that we don't have this commute time anymore, where you might have listened in the car, driving back and forth. So I'll listen to a podcast usually while I work out. And then once all of that's done, then I'm ready to start the day. Now, of course, it's critical that you need to make sure you planned your day before you start your day. So that's an important habit or hack that I like to follow as well. I'm a big checklister, as well as placing when you're going to accomplish each task in a set time frame. And I've gotten into sort of keeping my time clock going so that I know, okay, I've allocated 40 minutes to this task, we've got to move, or we've got to move on. So that's really important. Back to intentionality that we were talking about earlier, you have to be intentional about how you spend your time. I used to well, I'd say a lot actually, that, you can always make more money, but you can't make more time.
Mm-hmm.
So use it wisely. Whatever you do not waste your time. So that's really important. Also, part of efficiency has been delegation. So you need to delegate. This is my phrase: delegate, integrate, and automate. That is also the name of the game. So part of that delegation is outsourcing. I'm a big fan of there are some websites where you can outsource all kinds of tasks. You can utilize a labor force that's international, and it really helps you to accomplish. The old proverb, right, is if you want to go fast, then go alone. If you want to go far, you've got to go with other people and collaborate. So delegate, you want to integrate as many systems as you can, and then automate it. So now, this time that we've sort of had at home has been great to explore a lot of different technology applications. So the old adage, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, you need to go together. So that's a really important piece in terms of delegating and utilizing other resources in order to accomplish your goals. So I always say that, your job as a CEO is to be the visionary. And then you need to put your team together that will help to bring your vision to fruition. So that can include outsourcing. I'm a huge fan of outsourcing. You can even engage in an international labor force at economical prices. It's, integrating, delegate, integrate, automate. So you're integrating as many different technology applications as you can and automate them. So for example, if someone calls my office for a consultation, we can automatically get an email through a service. That email can trigger their data being entered into a CRM, or sort of a client retention or management system. They would then can get an automatic welcome email from the firm. And so there's automation. There's so many different ways to automate. Zapier is a great app that helps to connect various technology platforms. Slack is also a great app that we've integrated, particularly since we've been, pivoting to this sort of work from home or remote workforce. So delegate, integrate, automate, repeat. Efficiency is the name of the game, and I'm all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, one of the most valuable kind of resources and things that you have is your time, and to be able to kind of leverage that as much as possible is really the name of the game, because you can't create more time no matter how many times we try to do that.
No matter how hard you try,
Exactly. And I tried it, trust me. So now I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO nugget. And this could be a word of wisdom or a piece of advice. It might be something you would tell a client, or if you hopped into a time machine, you might tell your younger business self.
Oh my goodness. What would I tell my younger self? I would tell my younger self, don't be so hard on yourself. That's number one. Mistakes are nothing more than opportunities for growth. Mm-hmm. And to fulfill, it's my opinion that to fulfill your greatest potential, you have to live life fearlessly, right? You have to be bold about what you want. And again, be intentional about what you want. And so being bold or fearless means that you may make some mistakes along the way, but that is okay. And that is how you grow. And it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And I would also tell myself to remember to enjoy the ride. People become so fixated on the end goal that they neglect what matters most, whether it's their families, relationships, children. Happiness is really important, their own wellness. People neglect their physical and emotional health just to hurriedly achieve these goals, these end goals. And they're just working too hard, working all the time sometimes. But so, how you're experiencing your rise to success matters, and who you are in the process matters. So if racing to the end, to this end goal, is either turn you into someone who you're normally not, or it's causing you to compromise or neglect yourself and your well-being, it's time to hit pause and say, well, wait a minute now, what really matters, and to reevaluate that. So I would just say, you'll get there, keep pushing forward, but enjoy the ride as you go along.
Yeah, that's so powerful, and it's so important not to lose yourself and your values, as we kind of talked about, as well too, in who you are as you're going to get to whatever that goal is and wherever that destination might be. And I think you hit the nail on the head when so many times, especially if you're driven, you want to get there at all costs, so to speak. But in reality, we always have to remember why we're doing what we're doing, because the loved ones that we have, or our values, or our integrity, all those different things that we hold true and hold as really important to us, we don't want to lose those by getting to our destination, because truly, will it be why we were trying to strive and do all the things we were hoping to do?
Correct. I mean, if all the money in the world and no one to share it with, right? I mean, what's that? So, yeah, it's really important to stay focused on what your intention is, why you're doing it, and know that you'll get there. There's no shortcuts. So, you can't shortcut hard work. That's what it takes. But as long as you plan, prepare, and then go forward, you'll end in prosperity. That's my belief.
Yeah, I absolutely believe the same thing. You cannot cheat the process as a whole. So
Yeah.
now I want to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show. So Michelle, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Freedom. Freedom to lead, to influence, to serve others on your terms and in alignment with who you are and your core values. That's, if something doesn't fall, in line with your core values, then what do you have? But being a CEO allows you to, take what works for you, to not take it, and also to focus on, how you are impacting, those around you, the community, and also to be able to amplify your influence to the community around you. I wanted to cultivate a space where we could do and influence and do family law the way that I thought that it should be done, and help people the way that I thought. It also enables me to influence even, the people on my team, people that work for me, mentees, as well as those who are watching you from afar, because, people are always watching. So it gives you that, that audience, that, freedom to really be able to express and to do the work that you've been called to do on your terms and the way you want to do it. I would say also, Gresham, that it also means responsibility. I believe that to whom much is given, much is required, and it's not something I take lightly. And as we were mentioning really at the top of the program, the goal is that when you leave, we're all going to leave here at some point, and when we do, you want to leave empty. You want to know that you've maximized and used your gifts and talents to the best of your ability. And it's a heavy, being CEO is a lot of responsibility, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, really.
Nice. I absolutely love that freedom and responsibility. And it gave me a visual. I was just thinking about, talking about entrepreneurship and business, like lemons, making lemons into lemonades. We ourselves want to be those lemons that have to squeeze every single part and aspect of the juice out by the time we're done. And I think that when you're able to really execute, you're able to amplify and show tremendous influence, as you said, so well in so many different ways. That's truly when we have been able to do that. So Michelle, truly appreciate that definition. I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know, and of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things that you're working on.
Sure. It's about the vision. Plan your vision, write it down, be intentional about your vision, and believe that it will come to fruition. Build your team before you need it, before you need your team. Build your network before you need it. I always say that your network equals your net worth. So be intentional about who you're even spending and surrounding yourself with, and watch, speak affirmations, and then watch it come to fruition. Your dreams, it's possible, and I'm living proof of that. So there's been no looking back. Being a CEO has been great, and people can reach me. We're pretty much everywhere. Our website is thomaslawdc.com. We're on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at DC Divorce. So you can find me. My personal pages are Michelle C. Thomas or Michelle C. Thomas ESQ. So we're pretty much everywhere. We try to provide inspirational quotes and some motivation to our community. And so that's what we're here to do, is we're here to serve.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we'll definitely have the links and information in the show notes as well too. But I appreciate you for serving us and providing us with so much knowledge and information and wisdom as well too, as much as you give to the people that you work with and be able to serve the people that you have as clients. And I truly appreciate you again, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me.